There is a specific kind of tiredness that hits you when you have crossed the 40-year mark and you are still struggling financially. It is not a physical tiredness, like the kind you feel after a long day of yard work or a brutal session at the gym. A good night's sleep, a hot shower, and a lazy Sunday can usually fix that kind of fatigue. This tiredness is different. It is deeper. It settles into your bones and your soul. It is a spiritual exhaustion. It's the feeling that hits you on a gray Sunday evening as the sun goes down, and a knot of dread forms in your stomach because you know tomorrow is Monday, and you have to do it all over again. You have to go to a job that perhaps you no longer love, or even actively dislike, to earn money that is already spent before it even hits your bank account, just to keep the wolves from the door for another 30 days. You look back at the last 10, 15, maybe 20 years of your adult life, and you wonder in quiet moments of desperation, where did it all go? I have worked so hard. I have shown up. I have tried to do the right thing. Why am I still treading water? Why does it feel like everyone else, my friends, my neighbors, the people I see on social media, is moving ahead, building wealth, going on nice vacations, while I am fighting a daily trench war just to stay in the exact same place? If you recognize this feeling, if this resonates with the quiet voice in the back of your head at 3 a.m., I want you to know that I see you. I understand the crushing weight of that burden. It is the weight of the rat race. And the older you get, the faster the wheel seems to spin, and the harder and more exhausting it becomes just to keep up. You feel trapped by your obligations, by your past mistakes, and by a system that seems rigged against you. We are standing right now at the threshold of a new year. January is traditionally a time of hope, of fresh starts, of bold resolutions, of promises we make to ourselves in the quiet of our hearts that this year will finally be different. But if you are brutally honest with yourself right now, how many Januaries have come and gone in your life with those exact same promises, only to find them broken, abandoned, and forgotten by Valentine's Day? How many times have you resolved to get ahead, to finally start saving, to pay off the debt, only to find yourself in December in the exact same financial hole, or worse, than where you started? If you are tired of struggling, if you are truly, deeply sick and tired of being sick and tired, then this January has to be radically different from any January you have ever experienced. You cannot enter 2026 doing the same things, thinking the same thoughts, and indulging the same habits you did in 2025 and expect a different result. That is the literal definition of insanity. You don't need more generic tips and tricks. You don't need to hear "skip the latte" one more time. You don't need a complicated 50-page financial plan from a high-fee advisor that you will never understand or follow. You are too exhausted for complexity. You need clarity. You need a hard reset. You need the equivalent of a defibrillator shock to your financial life to stop the current rhythm of failure and start a new rhythm of success. To do this, we are going to turn to the wisdom of Warren Buffett, not because we expect to become billionaires in January. That is a fantasy. We turn to Buffett because he is the ultimate master of simplicity. He knows how to cut through the noise, ignore the distraction, and focus laser-like only on the few variables that actually move the needle. He understands that when you find yourself in a hole, the first and most important rule is to stop digging. If you are over 40, living paycheck to paycheck and drowning in debt, you are deep in a hole. Today, right now, we are going to stop digging. I am going to give you 3 specific non-negotiable actions to take in January. These are not suggestions. These are not nice-to-haves. These are mandatory, executable steps if you seriously want to break the cycle of struggle that has defined your adult life. They will be uncomfortable. They will require significant sacrifice. Your ego will fight them. Your ingrained habits will scream in protest. Your friends might think you've gone crazy. But if you execute these 3 things with military precision and unwavering discipline for just 31 days, you will end January as a fundamentally different person financially than you started it. You will have stopped the active bleeding. You will have regained a sense of control. And for the first time in a long time, you will have hope for 2026 that is based on reality and action, not just wishful thinking. Action 1. The financial kill switch. The 30-day radical detox. The first and most critical reason you are struggling is that your financial life is hemorrhaging money through 1,000 tiny, invisible cuts. You are likely leaking cash in ways you don't even realize, driven by deeply ingrained habits, a desire for convenience and emotional spending used to cope with the stress of your life. When a patient is brought into an emergency room bleeding out from multiple wounds, the doctor doesn't sit down and talk to them about the benefits of eating more kale or starting a jogging program next month. The doctor applies a tourniquet. They stop the active bleeding immediately by any means necessary to save the patient's life. Only then can healing begin. Your financial life is bleeding out. Action number 1 in January is applying the tourniquet. I call it the financial kill switch. For the entire month of January, from the morning of the 1st to the night of the 31st, you are going to commit to a radical, uncompromising, no-spend challenge. This means you purchase absolutely nothing other than the bare necessities required for immediate physical survival and the ability to earn your income. What does this look like in practice? Let's define the rules of engagement. The rules of the kill switch. Food. You will eat, but you will not dine out. Not even once. No fast food drive-thrus because you are tired after work. No ordering pizza on a Friday night because it's been a long week. No sit-down restaurants. No coffee shops for your morning brew. You will cook every single meal at home using basic, affordable ingredients. You will pack your lunch for work every single day. You will eat the leftovers in your fridge before you buy new food. You will raid your pantry and freezer and eat what you already have. Clothing and personal care. You will buy 0 clothes, shoes, or accessories. You will wear what is currently in your closet. If a button falls off, you sew it back on. You will use up the shampoo, soap, and toothpaste you already have before buying more. You will skip the salon or barbershop for 30 days. If you need a trim, do it yourself or ask a family member. Entertainment. You will spend $0 on entertainment. No movie theaters, no concerts, no paid apps, no new video games, no renting movies on demand. You find free ways to entertain yourself. Books from the library, walks in the park, board games you already own, having friends over for a potluck where everyone brings a dish. Shopping. Absolutely nothing from Amazon or any online retailer that is not a direct household necessity like toilet paper or dish soap. You delete the shopping apps from your phone for the month to remove the temptation. You unsubscribe from all marketing emails that tempt you with sales. Transportation. You buy gas to get to work and the grocery store. That's it. No unnecessary driving trips. This sounds extreme because it is. It has to be. A lifetime of bad habits cannot be gently coaxed away. You need a hard, violent break from your current patterns of consumption. Warren Buffett is famous for his extreme aversion to waste. Despite his billions, he lives simply. He counts pennies. Why? Because he understands deeply that money is freedom in stored form. Every dollar you mindlessly hand over for a lukewarm coffee you could have made at home or a sandwich you could have packed yourself is a tiny piece of your future freedom that you are permanently giving away to a corporation. When you are over 40 and broke, you do not have the luxury of waste. You have already given away enough of your freedom. It's time to reclaim it. This 30-day detox serves 2 critical, life-changing purposes. First, it will immediately generate a pile of cash. The average American family wastes hundreds, sometimes over $1,000 a month on non-essentials without even realizing it. By applying the kill switch, that money will stop leaving your hands and suddenly stay in your bank account. At the end of January, you could have an extra $500, $800, or even $1,000 in cold hard cash that you wouldn't have had otherwise. That is the seed of your emergency fund. That is your first breath of air. Second, and more importantly, it breaks the psychological chain of consumerism. We spend money to soothe ourselves. We are bored, so we browse online. We are stressed, so we buy comfort food. We feel inadequate, so we buy status items. The kill switch forces you to confront those emotions without the crutch of spending. It retrains your brain to realize how little stuff you actually need to be okay and even happy. Be warned, it will be painful. The first 10 days will be the hardest. You will feel deprived. You will feel bored. You will feel annoyed and irritable. Your brain will invent 1,000 rationalizations to cheat. Just this once won't hurt. I deserve a treat. You must recognize these as the cries of a dying addiction. Do not give in. Stick with it. It's only 31 days. You can do anything for 31 days to save your own life. Action 2. The invisible wealth. Setup. Automation. If Action 1 is about stopping the bad habits by brute force, Action 2 is about installing a good habit that is unbreakable and requires zero willpower to maintain. One of the biggest reasons you are exhausted is that you have been relying on willpower to manage your money for decades. You tell yourself every month, "This month I will be disciplined. This month I will save whatever is left over." But willpower is a finite psychological resource. It is a muscle that gets tired. By the time you are 45, working a demanding job, managing a household, raising kids or caring for aging parents, your willpower muscle is completely exhausted by 10 a.m. every day. By the end of the month, when there is a little money left in the checking account, your brain is too tired to make the difficult, virtuous decision to save it for a distant future. It takes the path of least resistance, spending it on immediate gratification or letting it get absorbed by lifestyle creep. Warren Buffett knows that human beings are deeply flawed when it comes to money. We are emotional, short-sighted, and irrational. That's why his primary rule for saving is designed to bypass human weakness entirely. He says, "Do not save what is left after spending. Spend what is left after saving." In January, you are going to take the decision out of your hands forever. You are going to set up a system that builds wealth for you automatically in the background of your life, whether you feel like it or not, whether you are having a good day or a bad day. Action number 2 is setting up the invisible wealth transfer. Here is the exact step-by-step process. Determine the amount. Look at your finances and determine a realistic but uncomfortable amount of money you can save each month. If you are committing to the kill switch in January, this number should be significantly higher than you think possible. Let's say, for example, it's $300. Open a separate account. This is crucial. Open a new high-yield savings account at a completely different bank from where you have your main checking account. If your checking is at Bank of America, open savings at Ally or Capital One. You do not want to see this money when you log in to check your balance for groceries. You want there to be friction, a 2-3 day transfer delay, to get the money back. This prevents impulse raids on your savings. Automate the transfer. Log into your main checking account portal. Set up an automatic recurring transfer of that $300 to your new outside savings account. This transfer must happen on the exact same day your paycheck hits your account, not the day after, not a week later. The money must leave your hands before you even have a chance to see it, count it, or think about spending it. This money is your freedom tax. It is the most important bill you pay. It is the payment you make to your future self before you pay the landlord, before you pay the electric company, before you buy groceries. Why is this so incredibly powerful? Because of a psychological principle called Parkinson's Law, which states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. In personal finance, a similar law applies. Expenses expand to absorb the total income available. If you see $3,000 in your checking account, your brain will subconsciously find a way to spend $3,000. By automating that transfer first, you are artificially lowering your available income. If you make $3,000 and instantly transfer $300, your brain now sees only $2,700. And the amazing thing about the human brain is that it will adjust. You will figure out how to live on $2,700 because you have no other choice. This single action changes the entire trajectory of your financial life. It guarantees that every single month, without fail, you are getting slightly richer. You stop the treadmill. You are no longer running just to stay in place. You are finally moving forward automatically, 1 month at a time. You must set this up in the first week of January. Do it once, and it will serve you for the rest of your life. Action 3. The asset injection, becoming an owner. The first 2 actions stop the bleeding and start accumulating a pile of cash. This is essential for stability, but you cannot save your way to wealth, especially starting late over 40. Inflation is a silent, relentless termite that eats away at the purchasing power of cash sitting in a bank account. If you are tired of struggling, it is deeply likely because you have spent your entire adult life on the wrong side of the economic equation. You have been purely a consumer and a laborer. You trade your time for money, and then you immediately give that money to companies in exchange for goods and services that lose value the moment you buy them. Wealthy people, people like Buffett, live on the other side of the equation. They are owners. They own assets, primarily shares of businesses, that generate money while they sleep and grow in value over time. They own the companies that you buy things from. If you want to stop struggling permanently, You must cross the Rubicon. You must change your fundamental identity from someone who works for money to someone whose money works for them. Action number 3. In January is the asset injection. You are going to buy your freedom. This is the step that terrifies most people over 40 who didn't grow up with money or financial education. The stock market feels like a rigged casino designed for Wall Street insiders to fleece the little guy. It feels complicated, intimidating, and scary. Buffett tells us it doesn't have to be. In fact, he has said repeatedly that the best way for the average person, the non-expert, to invest is also the simplest and most effective way over the long term. You don't need to pick individual stocks. You don't need to read earnings reports or watch financial news channels that are designed to scare you. You just need to own a slice of the entire American economy. In January, you are going to take a portion of the money you saved from the kill switch. It doesn't have to be thousands, it can be $100, $250, or $500, whatever you have beyond your immediate emergency needs. And you are going to buy your first shares of a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. Here is how simple it is. Open a brokerage account. Go online to a low-cost provider like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab. It takes about 15 minutes to open a standard individual brokerage account or an IRA if you qualify. Link your bank. Connect your checking account so you can move money in. Transfer the cash. Move that $100 or $500 into the brokerage account. Buy the fund. Search for the ticker symbol for their S&P 500 index fund, like VOO, IVV, or FXAIX, and click Buy. When you click that button, something profound shifts in your psychology. You are no longer just an employee dependent on a boss for a paycheck. You are no longer just a consumer feeding the system. You are now a part owner of the 500 largest, most powerful, most profitable companies in the United States of America. You own a tiny piece of Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble. When those companies sell products around the world and make a profit, you make a profit. When the economy grows, your wealth grows. The goal in January is not to get rich off this one purchase. That's not how it works. The goal is to break the seal. The goal is to conquer the fear of investing by actually doing it. The goal is to establish the new identity and habit of buying assets instead of liabilities. Buffett knows better than anyone that the magic of compounding takes time. It is a slow process at first, but you cannot get to the end of the journey if you never take the first step. January 2026 is the month you take that step. You become an investor. You become an owner. Be prepared. The market goes up and down every day. It is possible that the day after you buy, the value will drop. Do not panic. This is a long-term game for the next 10, 15, or 20 years. Ignore the daily noise and focus on the fact that you are now in the game. Conclusion: the choice is yours. So there you have it. The January Hard Reset Protocol. The financial kill switch. A radical 30-day no-spend challenge to stop the bleeding, break consumer addictions, and generate immediate cash. The invisible wealth. Setup: automating your savings on payday to a separate bank, paying yourself first, and bypassing the need for willpower. The asset injection. Buying your first index fund shares, crossing the line from consumer to owner, and starting the compounding clock. These three things are profoundly simple to understand. A child could understand them, but they are incredibly difficult to actually do. They require you to say a firm no to yourself and your impulses over and over again. They require you to embrace significant discomfort and inconvenience for 31 days. They require you to face the harsh reality of your financial situation head-on, without flinching or making excuses. You are tired. I know you are. The weight of the struggle is immense. It feels easier in the moment to just keep doing what you're doing, to seek comfort in small purchases, and hope that somehow, someday, things will just magically get better. But hope is not a strategy. Magical thinking will not pay for your retirement. If you do nothing different this January, I guarantee you that next January you will be even more tired, you will be more cynical, and you will be 1 year older with less time to fix it. Warren Buffett didn't become wealthy by taking the easy path or following the herd. He became wealthy by taking the disciplined path, the rational path. He embraced simplicity, abhorred waste, and prioritized owning productive assets above all else. You have a stark choice this January. You can continue the slow, exhausting slide into a precarious, dependent old age. Or, you can decide that enough is enough. You can decide that you are willing to endure 31 days of discomfort to buy back the rest of your life. Don't just watch this video, nod along, and then go back to your old habits. Do it. Commit to it right now. Write these 3 steps down. Tape them to your bathroom mirror. Tell someone you trust that you are doing a financial reset in January so they can hold you accountable. The struggle doesn't have to last forever. You have the power to change the trajectory of your life, but you have to be the one to change it. No one is coming to save you, and it has to start now. Let's make this January the one that actually counts. Let's make 2026 the year everything changes.